What's up, everybody? Welcome to the No Scrubs Allowed podcast brought to you by Manscaped.com, where you can head over to Manscaped.com and pick up your Perfect Package 3.0 kit. Comes with the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0, which is the body trimmer. And then, of course, if you use our code, you get 20% off, free shipping, and you get two gifts. You get the Shed Travel Bag, which is a $39 value, and you get the Manscaped Boxer Briefs. So that's the perfect package for your perfect package. So just head over to manscaped.com, use the code NOSCRUBS, all one word, and you get 20% off and free shipping. So head over there, do that. Your partner, your body, and your balls will thank you. So what's up, Seal?
Don't forget to go over.
Shit.
Oh,
What's up?
not much. I was going to tell people to go over to YouTube and look at a pretty little Koa over your right shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing a Sunday cleaning.
He's about to start cleaning himself, get really creepy. If we take too long recording, you guys will get to hear from him because it'll be about his dinner time. And he's going to let everyone know.
We got about an hour until work time.
Oh, he'll be our alarm. I don't even have to set a timer. So sports are back, man. They're pretty much back. This is the last episode that we will have without one of the big five sports. But let's start off real quick just with something that is back, and that's the basketball tournament. I don't really want to talk about it because I don't know too much, but what I did want to say is I have been watching a couple games, and it is just nice to have sports back. Have you watched any of this?
I was watching a little bit of it yesterday. Caught, I guess, the first three quarters of the CP3 versus. Oh man, I think it started with a P.
Primetime players.
Yeah, primetime players. I think that was in there. Yeah. And it was funny at the beginning of it. They showed this one guy. Come on, brain. It's not giving it to me today. Danny Mason.
Nick Mason, Nate Mason, something like that.
Something Mason.
Mason was the last name for sure.
Yes. Yeah. So number 4. Good job, brain. The broadcasters have said this game pretty much relies on him. If he plays great, CP3 is going to win. If he doesn't play great, CP3 is not going to win. It's as simple as that. And the kid was playing like garbage, and they had 5 points through almost halfway through the second quarter. And then he started coming together, and they were down, I think, 4 or 5 going into the half. And that was very much true. And the only thing I really got out of it is you texted me today about it as well. I noticed it yesterday. Is just how comical the reffing is in the tournament.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I watched the game before that game, which was House of Pain and Ward Tampa, but it was like a 20-point blowout, so it doesn't really matter. But then earlier, I watched Sideline Cancer play against Team Hines, and this was a really good game, and it ended up going all the way down to the buzzer. This guy, Keen, for Sideline Cancer, hit this crazy fall-away 2-point jumper over Ethan Happ for the win. But before that, Hines was pretty much dominating the game, and they had 2 foul calls called on them that I think kind of blew the game. But obviously they still had their chances to win, but that was rough to see, to be like, oh man, because that's just the thing with this Elam ending. A bad call, they get the foul shot and the ball back during this special ending thing. If you haven't watched it, it's a little different from regular basketball. But they get 1 foul shot, and then they get the ball back. So when you get a bad foul call, it's actually giving them almost like it's a technical. So that you give them that free point from the bad foul call, but then they also get the ball back to try to do it again. So hopefully that kind of cleans up a bit. But what I did actually want to talk about with this thing is the bubble. If you were watching with audio on, they probably talked about the bubble 50 times. They did during this game at least. But it's really crazy because they, much like the NBA, it's kind of, they just bought out everything. So the TBT has the entire hotel. They have everything. Now they're doing stuff, what I think, a little different. Both teams, before the game, they have to go down. They have to pack their bags, leave their room, put their bags in the lobby before the game, because the losing team doesn't even get to go back up to their room. They just have to leave to lessen the spread of stuff going around. So they just go straight to their cars. The people bring the bags out from the lobby to the car, and they leave. So they don't even get to go back into the hotel if they lose, which is just crazy. But you see how it's doing the quarantine. Teams are not allowed to leave the hotel at all. So as far as I know, they can kind of do stuff in the hotel, but unlike the NBA, they can't leave the hotel. They can't even go watch the game if they're not playing. They can't do any of that. So it's been kind of weird, but the product itself has been pretty good, aside from the fact that they're not NBA players, but the product has been pretty good, so I'm impressed. I'm ready to watch the good teams that got the first round bye starting, I think, tomorrow.
For sure, and it's awesome that happens. We have the MLS coming back this week. But before we go on to that, I kind of want to talk about UFC a little bit.
Absolutely.
Huge announcement coming out. I'm trying to figure out why Burns isn't going to fight.
It's COVID.
Usman.
It's coronavirus.
All right.
Yeah.
But because when I was looking it up, I saw the Burns Tyron Woodley free fighter one. But Jorge Masvidal has agreed to fight Usman as long as COVID testing says neither one of them have it. That is awesome. It's amazing. It makes this fight card that's already absolutely amazing. A hugely hyped fight island that's in the desert. Not an island whatsoever, which I'm very disappointed because I would have loved to see yachts just coming up to just kind of look at these people at
that would have been cool.
Not really being able to see it or anything. But no, you got to get in your little duggy.
It's an island of sand.
Yeah, your little duggy and go through the sand and get to this fight island. But this card is stacked, man. We got Jose Aldo, got Usman and Masvidal, and then I totally forgot now the other fight. There's three title fights. I don't think in the titles, no.
Oh, true.
But yeah, man, there's 3 title fights, and the main card just got even better, swapping out Burns for Masvidal. That is huge, and that fight's going to be absolutely electric.
Well, Burns was good as well, but Masvidal was Volkanovski and Max Holloway.
Max Holloway, yeah.
But that's
going to be good.
Masvidal should have been the fight anyway, and UFC couldn't figure out the money part of it, so they just kind of put in Burns instead. So with Burns going out, I'm sure they're giving Masvidal a huge payday. But now only 1 week out, it's kind of crazy. So, man, I don't even know what to expect because Usman is really, really good. But Masvidal is the guy that just kind of throws convention out the window. He just does crazy stuff. And if Usman's been preparing for this Gilbert Burns guy, he might be subject to a few surprise things as long as Masvidal's in shape.
For sure. That's definitely advantage Masvidal. And I think when you just look at these 2 fighters, the advantage does go to Masvidal just because of how just awkward his style is. And Usman's very, technical. And
if Usman can get him to the ground, I think it's game over.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You got to do it.
But it's going to be fun, man. I'm hyped. I haven't been this hyped probably since the beginning of the year when all that McGregor and those fights were going down. And it looked like we were going to have a great UFC 2020. And 2020 has been ass.
Well, it starts out. So this main card, guys, don't wait for the main event to jump in because the first fight is Amanda Ribas and Paige Van Zant, which to keep it above the belt here, they're also good fighters, but both of these fighters were originally known for just being hot women at first, and then they turned out to be really good. So Paige Van Zant, not ranked, but she was named as the hottest woman UFC fighter, and then Amanda Ribas is pretty attractive as well. So you want to start out right off the bat, but you will get good fights, and then it just from that point on. And then from that point on, it's crazy. It's a rematch between Jessica Andrade and Thug Rose.
I'm not going there.
You're gonna the opposite of the Paige Van Zant and Amanda.
Yeah. So we got the high tier.
But then you got the high tier fighters because the winner of Jessica Andrade and Thug Rose will go on to fight. I think that's Weili Zhang's class. So the winner will be the number 1 contender to fight them. I think Thug Rose won the first time, Rose Namajunas, the first time these people fought. So then, like you said, it's Jose Aldo and Piotr, I think is how you actually say this guy's name. Piotr Jan, and then Max Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski, and then Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal. So it's a huge card, and even the undercards, I think, the prelims had some pretty good stuff at the end of it. So check it out. It's worth it. It's going to be Fight Island. They're going to do something crazy, I'm pretty sure.
Now, when is wasn't Cormier supposed to fight, or when is Cormier fighting? When's his last fight?
He keeps going back and forth on that because he doesn't want to fight anybody that they keep dangling up on him.
It's annoying.
So I don't know if he's actually agreed to anything. So
I thought I heard something, but yeah.
let's see real quick what the Googs has to say. It says August 15th, he's supposed to fight Stipe again.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay.
So that'll be
it is
that'll be
Stipe.
fun. And,
So August 15th. That'll be nice. Get rid of him.
get rid of who? Daniel Cormier? Because Stipe is gonna wreck him.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah. I
That'd
hope. I the only reason I don't really like DC is because of how much he cried and pretty much pulled a Pedro when he called the Yankees his daddy. He just pretty much cried and said it's not even a rivalry if I can't beat him.
With John Jones.
So ever since,
But
yeah,
it's hard to beat a cheater, dude.
I never liked him ever.
So yeah, so the big card this week is obviously going to be talked about on Sunday by us. But let's talk about the MLS is back. It is coming back. Carlos Vela is not. That is confirmed-ish as far as some posts that I just saw on some semi-reputable news media. But MLSsoccer.com doesn't have it. But he's going to be staying home. So that does make LAFC a little bit closer to the rest of the group. But you have to think they're still favorites to get top two in their group and make it out. But looking at this bracket challenge, I did the bracket challenge, going to try to win some 10K. But it should be pretty easy for LAFC to make it out because the top two make it out. And then there's 3 wild card teams that make it out as well. So they really just have to be not terrible and they'll make it out. So score some goals, make it out. And I'm ready for the games to just start, though. So Wednesday is supposed to start with Miami and Orlando, and then Nashville and Chicago. But Nashville supposedly has had 4 people test positive after landing in Orlando, where they're supposed to be quarantined. So that's either some false positives happening or bad protocol by MLS or Nashville not following directions. Are you nervous that this could be just a big explosion if the very first day of games is going to have somebody almost get forfeited if they have all these positive tests?
I'm sticking with my guns here, and you just have to deal with it. You can't pull back anymore. We're 3 months into this new world that we live in, and we're kind of getting grips. We all know there's going to always be new things coming. Every day's different with this thing, it seems like. So if we're going to do it, we just need to do it and just go for it. And if they're a major company like the MLS is, they should have those precautions in place if players are not able to go, that they have the other thousands of players that they have around the country and the farm teams and the systems around that they can pull up or whatever need be and make sure those guys are good to go. But the biggest thing with this, man, to come out and seeing all these false negatives or false positives that are very overwhelming numbers to come out on this last week, and stories of nurses just opening them up and throwing them in the tube and sending them off with a fake name, them coming back positive with nothing on them whatsoever.
Or like just swiping down random things.
Yeah, it's very
like
alarming.
Potato and stuff like that.
Very alarming to see, man. It's crazy. So you don't really know, even in the test that you're reading, you don't even really know what's in that.
Right.
So it's hard. It's really hard to understand and come to grasp with and deal with. I understand that, but if you're going to go, you got to go. You can't go and then pull. If 9 players on one team has it and they don't have enough people to go, unfortunately, that team is out of the tournament. And when the season starts back up after the tournament, then we'll give it a go again. I mean, it is what it is. Everybody has the same fair chance right now in this crazy world that we're in. Nobody has an advantage or a disadvantage. Everybody is dealing with COVID in America the same way. So, I mean, it's different in different cities and states and stuff like that. But we're all in the same world.
To be honest, not to sound insensitive at all, but it's different for athletes as well. I have not seen a story of an athlete dying. I've seen some that have been hit pretty hard, so it's not like it's
Yeah,
completely
man. Tony
nothing.
Baselli.
But
Tony Baselli or Jeff Lageman, one of the old
yeah,
Jaguar greats? Him and his wife. His wife was
but his
fine.
wife was fine, and and so obviously it can still hit athletes, but it seems to be a little less deadly for them. So hopefully that can at least bring some confidence into being a little more aggressive with the way that they handle it. Still, obviously, don't let them play if they test positive. But like you said, to be able to say, listen, sorry, go quarantine, you're out of this thing. But they should be fine and not fear too much that they're killing people.
Hey, and at least they know now when the season's back, there's 9 players that they got ready to go.
Right. That's true. But and then another, so
Now, do you think – all right,
what's up?
never mind. We're still talking about soccer. I was going to think, do you think Bill Belichick is like slipping COVID to all his players so they can get it now and quarantine and chill, and then when they start back up, they're just ready to go, 53 man, good to go?
No, I doubt that. That sounds like something that John Calipari may be doing at Kentucky, but that doesn't really sound like a. I know that they cheat a lot, but that seems a little bit next level. But no, it's crazy. So I think I'm with you. It's going to happen at this point. It has to. Other sports are showing that it can happen. The EPL has been going, and we haven't seen anything bad happen from that. Your Essendon Bombers in Australian Football League, they had to not forfeit a game, but postpone a game, I guess, due to coronavirus. But the season went on. Nothing crazy happened. They were able to play the next week. So it didn't really affect their team from the sense of, well, dang, we got to shut everything down. So
yeah, the worst part about that is our stats. Our stats look lopsided whenever we're doing the matchups at the beginning of the game. Just our best player versus their best player, they usually have about 10 more marks than we do, and it's just because of that missed game. And that's literally it. Like, the world goes on. The other team, I think they're back at it now, and we're just gonna have to deal with it. Us as Americans. We always do the wrong thing and freak out way too much, but that's what we do.
Well, did you see that it's just not sports related, but Europe allowed all these countries to come back into Europe. The EU is allowing international travel again. US was left off the list because they said they didn't do a good job taking care of the virus. So that's kind of annoying because I was supposed to go to London now in less than 2 months. So if they don't lift that, I can't go there. So I don't really want to go right now anyway. So I'm kind of hoping that they force the airlines to cancel because I've already tried to get my money back and they won't give it to me. So,
are you serious?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Wow.
So I don't want to say the airlines, but the one going to London, it has offered me a voucher through 2022, which is totally fine. But that was the cheaper leg. The leg coming back, they're just like, nope, you're out of luck, buddy. If you don't go, you don't get it. You're out, like, all this money. And it's like, are you serious? But now if I get to go, I won't be able to watch any sports. I won't be able to go to bars probably. I won't be able to do anything that I was going to do anyway. So I want them to keep the travel ban so that hopefully I can say, listen, I physically cannot go. They won't allow me legally. You have to give me the money back, or at least half of it, or a voucher or something. But I don't know.
That's crazy. That's weird. But yeah, man, so the world's going to go on. Like, hopefully Junior will turn 18 one day. And in a normal world again. But for the near future couple years, it's not going to be normal. We're going to have to figure out a new normal as far as going about everything, like we did back with the influenza and back in the SARS days, or all this
Spanish
all the
flu,
all that stuff that ever came about. We have to deal with it. We have to just get a grasp on it. And it stinks that it's hurt sports for a while, and really everybody for a while, but we're getting back to it. And if we're going to go, we got to go. We can't pull back. We all have the same leg to walk on right now. And if a team gets hurt by the COVID, then that was just your luck.
True. So let's shift gears real quick to baseball. There is a lot of people coming out saying that they don't want to play. And my assumption is that they forfeit their entire salary, right? If they do that. But they would forfeit then a year off their contract and everything, I'm pretty sure, that because as soon as the season starts, their contract is active. So people like David Price for the Dodgers, who said he's not going to play. Do you know, have you seen any posts or anything, if he's able to change his mind at all? Like if he says, I'm not going to play, doesn't show up for spring training, doesn't show up for a while, and it starts to clear up and get better, is he then able to be like, you know what? Playoffs are coming soon. I want to play. I want to help the team.
I'm not sure how that would go. I don't see why he wouldn't be able to. But then again, they would have to leave him on their active roster
So
all
they'd
year.
be a man down for like the entire season.
I feel like that's the only way that they could do it is if he's on his active roster, or if they put him on PUP list, or whatever way that they could finagle it where he could come back. I'm sure he can't just show up after not being on the active roster or some injured list or anything like that.
And there's no minor leagues to work him out in either, so it would be against the Dodgers to even put him out there. They would say, listen, you haven't been able to warm up, you haven't been able to do anything.
I mean, it really goes against the Dodgers to put him out there in any facet, for any reason, ever. Just as a pitcher, you don't want to put that pitcher on the mound, ever.
Hey, he's got a ring now.
Well, it wasn't him.
He pitched one great game, bro.
Another player that y'all took from us is more of a reason than he is.
Yeah, so was Joe Kelly, and we saw how that worked out for us too.
Yeah, that's who I was talking about.
Oh, I thought you meant Mookie, who we just are about to see.
Joe Kelly, the pitcher y'all got from us first.
I hope he joins his buddy David Price and decides to sit out the season. That would be awesome. But did you see what Michael Lorenzen said, which would be awesome? I think I would love it. This guy, because of he's a relief pitcher, I believe. He said he is ready to pitch in every single game. It's only 60 games. There's not really a bunch of strings of games all at once. He's ready to pitch every game. Do you think you're going to see players like that, at least the utility guys, the pitchers, the bullpen guys, do you think you're going to see them coming out and pitching every single game? Obviously not for the Dodgers because they just don't do that. But those Kenley Jansen types, are they going to pitch every single game?
If the managers will allow them to.
60 games is not a lot for a reliever at
especially
all.
For them, yeah. It's what, 162 games in 180 days is the normal baseball season.
Right.
So 60 games in what is it, 80-something days maybe?
Something.
I don't know.
And these relievers are normally pitching around 75, 80 games easily.
So it's definitely – it's doable. It's just up to the managers if they want to do it, because in their eyes, it's still stress on the body, and it's a full season. They're worried about the full season and the playoffs and all that stuff. So even though it's 60 games, they're going to be micromanaging in their heads, and something's going to tell them either to do it or not to do it. So I feel like there's going to be a couple guys who are definitely going to be out there at least an inning or two every single game.
I think so. And then batters, obviously, but the batters do that all the time. But I think people like Bellinger are going to play every game now because they have that DH slot that they can play as well. So.
Yeah, do you think we'll see a lot more set lineups from teams like the Dodgers who switch it up on a regular basis?
No, they'll still platoon everyone. But the signings that we've made have been geared towards getting everyday players anyway. Like getting Betts. Betts isn't a platoon player. Bellinger's no longer a platoon player. We like Seager. All those guys are going to play every single time. So we might have one or two people that switch between righty and lefty, but
now it might just be like did y'all figure out a way to be able to put all four of your outfielders out there one time?
We're just going to play a softball lineup. They're just going to all four be out there.
It's great though, but no, man, I'm definitely excited for baseball to come back just because I feel like not every team has a chance, because there's just teams like the Pirates, RIP, that just don't have it or don't want to have a roster that could even get through a 60-game season and coming on top. So I think we're going to have a cream of the crop kind of season, and it's not going to be much separation. So I just feel like it's a good chance for the Red Sox to be able to do something with their new future, maybe, and just kind of sneak up, or it's going to be just the same old, and we're going to have the Dodgers and the Yankees going at it.
And I do actually want to give a shout out, which is weird for us. It's not going to be at the end because they are a Yankee, but shout out to Masahiro Tanaka. I don't know if you saw this. He got hit in the head by a Giancarlo Stanton line drive in their very first workout, which is just a terrible way to start it out. But Stanton is no little guy, and he just creamed this thing. So he had to go to the hospital. He did get released. That was yesterday, I believe. So he got released. Everything was coming in negative other than just he had a concussion. So that's huge. So props to him. We never want to see injuries, but if he's unable to play, that's actually going to help out the Dodgers for a little bit. But obviously he'll be back.
Yeah. And also, since we're doing baseball shout outs, I want to shout out Trevor Bauer and his amazing custom t-shirt that he
did they put that on
made.
sale anywhere? Because we need to.
I'm going to look it up whenever I get some funny money going. I'm buying that shirt. I'll look it up here later and I'll send you the link if I get it. But it's an amazing shirt. It looks just like the 2017 Houston Astros championship shirt, but it's Trevor Bauer out. Like, it's 2017 World Chumps. What does it say? It says H-Town.
It says Trash Town.
Yeah, Trash Town, but the H-Town is in all white. It's absolutely amazing. The best thing I've ever seen. And he's rocking it in their clubhouse during their scrimmages. It's phenomenal.
Yeah,
I love it.
So go check that out if you want. I will buy one as well because being out here in LA, anti-Houston anything is going to be a positive.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that would definitely be a eye catcher for you.
Also, did you see that, just to talk about the Astros for a little bit, I almost called them the Texans, but did you see Alex Bregman say he loves their chances for a World Series in this
No, I did not.
Yeah, dude. Of course it's Alex Bregman, too, who's just continuously just
he just I don't like him. I cannot. He's such an asshole, bro. He's doing it on purpose. He's really doing it on purpose, which I kind of get. They have a clean slate now, I guess. I don't know. I really don't see how the MLB can't come together and say, hey, there's no Houston Astros for 5 years.
Yeah. And well, any home run that those guys hit, Bregman, Springer to a lesser extent, Altuve, they're gonna milk it. The bat flips are going to be bigger. They're going to stare down people. They're going to walk. They're the bad boys this year, and and it's going to be pretty rough.
And it's going to be fun. I don't even know if they're going to get a chance to hit any homers. Honestly, the season's already whopped. Like, what are they going to do? Find them their whole
every game paycheck? Matters now, though. So you can't just start off by beaming the first 3 guys and like loading the bases and.
There's no type of spring training or anything, is there?
It's team specific, so I think they're scrimmaging each other and things like that. They're not like the Astros A team is scrimmaging the B team or something. I don't think they're actually scrimmaging other teams.
How do you feel about the just random question here, the NFL not doing their supplemental draft this year?
You know, I didn't really even see that come up. I don't know how big of a deal that is. Really?
I think this year more than ever, it's a huge deal because just think about, so for people who don't know, the supplemental draft is for pretty much players who are in limbo, not in college, didn't get drafted, just are there ready to go, didn't get signed as a free agent, just a second chance to try to get in. And I feel like this year more than ever, it's really not needed unless you're the Patriots and you just always trying to find an advantage in any way you can. But this year more than ever, so many of these kids, because it's usually in like August, I believe, like end of July, early August. By then, we're all going to know if college football is happening.
Right.
And that's so many kids who have an extra year of prime young talent that they could go into and have that as their rookie year and then just have an extra jump on.
And aren't rosters bigger this year too? So like they need more people.
I have no idea what the rosters are.
Maybe it's just like the practice squad is bigger. I don't know,
but I was very surprised by that just because of how big that supplemental draft could inevitably be if there is no fall sports and there is no college football this year, and all those names that could end up getting a year early start. So if there is no college football, these guys are going to have to decide if they're going to go into. What about these guys who are about to have their 3rd year? And go out and be, what is it? You got to be over 21 years old, 3 years over 21, I think. to be eligible for the draft. So all these guys who are going into their third year, do they have to play an additional year? Or are they going to get waived off? It's so many question marks for me, and I felt like I was going to get some type of answers with this supplemental draft, and they just totally said the hell with it.
Well, and one thing that I'm seeing that will also just completely change everything if the NFL season continues, there is reports out from reputable sources, like actual big sources, that are saying that there's a lot of momentum toward moving the season to spring instead of fall, which would affect everything because the draft is normally in the spring. They would have to go to hand in hand. You'd be drafting Trevor Lawrence, and he might still be playing if he makes the playoffs.
So we're talking college football?
College football in spring. So that would be really weird because, like I said, I mean, Trevor Lawrence is probably going to be the number one pick, but he might get picked and still have 3 games left and then just be able to say, you know what, no, I'm the number one pick. I'm not going to play. And Clemson gets just screwed by it. So,
well, that's the same thing happens in baseball. These kids are primed up, ready to go to college, and then, oh, I got drafted?
Right.
Word up. I ain't going to college.
Baseball drafts are weird because you can just choose to either accept the draft pick or not. I guess you can do that in every sport, but nobody does it like they do in baseball since there's like 25 rounds of the draft or whatever it is. But
so that'd be dope to just be going in and, oh, I got drafted in the NFL. All right, peace out.
Which we see people do that. Leonard Fournette did that. His bowl, he sat out. So it happens a lot anyway. But to know for a sure that if he's a little bit tweaked and he got drafted first, he'd be like, you know what? No, I'm good.
5th week of the season, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
for
good.
Sure. And I don't see how that would end up playing out because it would end up bleeding into like May, June for the playoffs, and that's hot. We're going to see some strokes on the field.
Yeah, it'd be rough. They do wear a lot of pads. It is.
I don't know if you could do it. I feel like that's why soccer's like primarily. I mean, soccer's all year round nowadays, but growing up, soccer's always in the winter sports because the kids will die.
Yeah.
Running 110 yards back and forth, like you will die. And then throw on 30 pounds of pads, you're definitely going to die.
Absolutely.
I don't know how great of an idea that is. Maybe for other.
I don't know if it's going to happen. I just saw it was an actual post, not from rinkydinksports.com. It was a real website. So I thought I'd bring it up. But one more thing that I want to bring up, and this is something that I've talked to our old host Eddie about. I'm very happy. Hopefully it's got to happen at this point. The Redskins are finally going to change their name. This should have happened 20 years ago when they first got asked to change their name by the actual Native Americans that live in the DMV. And they decided, well, we're not trying to be offensive. So I guess that's just good. But it's not I'm not a guy like that wants the Seminoles to change their name. The Indians, I don't care as much about. But Redskins is not a tribe of Native Americans. Redskins is just an offensive term. If you look it up in the dictionary, it says like an offensive term for Native Americans. I don't understand how it's still there, but it looks like the Indians are probably going to change their name as well, which again is kind of on that verge. But then when you have the guys like the Seminoles and actual tribe names, it's probably not going to change. But you're as happy as I am. Obviously, you clap. So.
Yeah, I'm ecstatic about it. It's just it's a long time coming. I feel like it came up way back in the day, but the old owner or something kind of blew by it. Yeah, and I don't know if it's the same ownership or anything, but for FedEx to come out and be like, hey, we gave you guys almost $300 million. Like, you need to change your name. Like, you need to – it has to happen. And I think it definitely – it has to happen now more than ever before. And all this social change that's going on, you can't leave anything behind. You can't let anything slip through the cracks right now. And that's why I feel like – I feel like a little bit with the Florida State Seminoles just because I'm a Gator fan. Like, F them. But the fact that they have a white man going out on the horse and all that stuff. I just kind of feel like it's kind of gimmicky and stuff. And
They should take Chief Osceola away. Like
Yeah.
that's a little messed up.
yeah, but then Todd Riddick, a guy that we grew up with, is a huge Florida State fan, and he said, "Oh well, what he wears is given to them by the Seminole Indians of Florida that actually like them. The Oklahoma Seminole Indians, they can go screw them." He didn't say they can go screw themselves, but the Oklahoma State
Tribe of
Seminole
it,
Indians,
yeah.
they are not about it. They do not like it whatsoever. In which I feel like, hey, they don't like it. Like, change it.
Every
But-
report that I have heard, just to their defense, is that the Florida Seminole Indians are happy with them. They like to have their namesake on there. So
Yeah. So, I mean, that's up in the air. The Atlanta Braves with their tomahawk, the same
the
FSU
stupid
thing.
FSU chalk.
That's a little up in the air. Cleveland Indians, but Redskins,
yeah, it's,
absolutely not. That's like if there was the San Jose Crackers or something like that. Like
that would be
no.
kind of funny.
Yeah, like that would be hilarious. But it's blasphemy. We're in 2020. I get it. Back in the day, it was probably just a cool little mascot nickname. So you just thought of off the wall. Hey, the Redskins. Like, that's different. But nowadays we're in a woke age, as the youngins would say, and you can't let anything slip through the cracks, and that is a huge just blasphemy and a slap in the face to Native Americans, like people who were here before any of us, literally.
Right. So have you seen the names that are being offered out, and do you like any of them? Have you seen the mock-ups of the jerseys and stuff?
I haven't seen anything at all. I feel like they would keep the same colorway.
So the one that's gaining the most momentum, at least on social media, is the Washington Red Tails, which was the Tuskegee Airmen, which were the first African American fighter pilots in World War II. They nicknamed Red Tails because their plane was painted red at the back, so red tail. So what they would do is they would still have the red and yellow. They would just change the logo to be like a wing plane or something like that. But that's gaining the most. And then the other one is the Washington Warriors, where they would then keep they would keep their logo as the spear that they used to have, and of course keep all the colorways and stuff like that. And then of course there's some that change everything. But I like the Red Tails. I think it's really cool. But we'll see. But I think
really like the Red Tails. It's awesome. Yeah. So state capital or nation's capital, state capital, nation's capital. That fits. The Warriors, it doesn't fit for me. That's not.
I think that's just so they could try to keep their Native American stuff, because they would be the Native American like Warriors instead of Redskins. And then another one that I just think is funny is the Washington Monuments, and apparently that has a lot of steam as well. And I think that's stupid.
That's not bad.
I think it's stupid.
But I'm down with Red Tails. That's a good tie to the area,
and it would honor the military, which the DC area has for sure. Yeah. It would honor African Americans, as the whole entire group was African American, and of course it would be, I would think, non-offensive, since it is just the actual name of what they called their squadron. So I like it.
The Washington OGs, and don't change it. Just keep it all like, yeah, it's an Indian. It's the OG.
Some of the other ones, by the way, just that are able to be bet on, by the way, on sports betting websites, are the Presidents, the Generals, which are the team that loses to the Harlem Globetrotters every year, so I doubt it would be that. The Lincolns, the Americans, the Kings, the Capitals, which they already have, that's their hockey team, the Veterans, the Jeffersons, the Roosevelts, and the Arlingtons. So.
Ooh, what about the Washington Benjamins? And they come out with just $100 bills.
their entire uniform is $100 bills, like those tuxedos that are made with.
And you just have the Benjamin Franklin just chilling.
And their mascot is a guy with a kite.
That'd be great.
That would be.
I mean, so if it it has to happen now, right? Season's coming.
Well, Ron Rivera said he wants it before the season starts.
That's great.
So
I love Ron Rivera. He's a awesome person, a great guy. So expect that this week? Maybe?
yeah, I think they will. Though they might have a vote. They might bring
Because
those top
FedEx
four
came out
and
Thursday,
have a vote.
Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, and if they get their entire stadium name revoked, that would be bad. So they should probably work on it now because they play at FedEx Field, right, or something like that. FedEx Stadium.
Yeah.
So if they decide not to change it and FedEx pulls that, then they'll be also homeless for a season. So
I don't know if they'll be homeless. It's just they won't have that $300 million, right? There's got to be some kind of contract negotiation there. I don't think it's FedEx's stadium. It's probably the city of DC's stadium, and FedEx gave the team
to
money
put their name.
Yeah, to put the name. So I don't know how that would play out if they don't change it. But could you imagine the organization saying no, and in this time that we're in, and all the flack that they are getting?
So just so you know, it is the same owner. Dan Snyder is the same guy that was around back when they were getting the reviews before. So
yeah, that was like the 80s, bro.
Yeah.
Or early 90s. I forgot. There was a 30 for 30 on it.
There was one while we were alive, like in the late 90s or early 2000s or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's got to happen now. And from their eyes, it's a huge money change. Huge. So much money is going to be spent just in changing, and just your whole branding is that's the biggest part of a lot of companies is branding, and that's a big chunk of change. But it has to happen. So you can't worry about money right now, especially when you're an owner of a fucking NFL team. I mean, some owners aren't Shad Khans and stuff like that, and so I don't want to say that they're probably not all billionaires and billionaires, but you can't be hurting too bad if you own an NFL team outright. That's just the blunt end of it, and it has to happen. You can't worry about money right now. You won't even probably be able to play in the league if you don't change it now. I don't see how all 31 other teams will allow this owner to keep that going. So he may not have a team if he doesn't change his ways.
Right. And I'm sure he will. I can't imagine. Apparently, but yeah, it's been fought since 1988, and they did have a different owner there, but they've had Snyder since I think like 2006 or so, and it's been fought almost every year since then. So, but it's like the Gators with their Gator Chomp thing, they have chants and not with that, but they have chants and songs. When they win, they have a song called "Hail to the Redskins." So they would have to change a lot of stuff. So it's gonna be crazy, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
it should happen soon.
And even if they change their name, I'm sure there's going to be the diehards that they'll still do their HTTRs.
And they'll still wear their old Redskin stuff and things like that. But the money part is why I'm just saying that's why they don't want to change the colorway if they don't have to, because then it's a lot easier to just take the logo off of stuff right now, print it and send it just saying Washington or just the pictures, and then go from there.
Yeah. So I'm sure they've probably heard everything coming out, and then on Thursday when FedEx said that, they really started going, and they're probably spending this time coming out and figuring out their new logos and branding and the names, and because that's a lot of stuff, man. There's a good 5 or 6 logos that they got to come out with now, or try to keep a couple of them besides that main one, colorway, everything, the little patches, what patches they'll have. Got to come out with a whole new theme song that they've had for like 60 years.
Exactly.
So it's going to be a lot of work, but it'll be worth it in the end for sure.
Right. All right. So what else do we have to talk about? My co-host over here is giving me the business about being hungry.
Not much, man. I'm good to go.
Shout out to Bryson DeChambeau, who just won today the Rocket Mortgage Classic golf in Detroit. So he apparently changed his entire body. That's what this headline says. I don't know anything about DeChambeau, but I guess he stunk before, and now he changed his body and he's in better shape. And he just won. So congrats to him.
Nice. And congrats to America. Made it another year.
Well,
Got another year
we're
older.
trying to make it another year. We're halfway through.
We got a year older, at least.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Happy 4th to everyone. I hope you made it.
Most awkward 4th ever, besides the first one.
It was weird. So, I mean, let's end on that. So what, did you do anything? Were you able to do anything? Or is there, obviously there were fireworks everywhere. I heard fireworks all night.
I wasn't able to do anything. I was called into work, called out of work, called into work, called out. You're coming in, you're not. You're coming in. All right, you're coming in an hour later. All right, we don't. So by 10 o'clock, I finally knew I wasn't going in, and that was the end of it. But no, there was a good 2-3 hours. I was able to just sit outside with Cooper and just keep head on a swivel and get in the best fireworks show ever.
Yeah, I saw a lot.
It was great. No, it was a lot of money spent on these fireworks.
So last year,
a lot of money was spent.
Yeah, last year or 2 years ago, I was flying in and landing in LA during the night. It was like 10 p.m. on the 4th of July, which was awesome because you could just look out of the plane and just see fireworks. So
incredible.
It doesn't get any better than that, but there were a lot. I wish I would have been doing that this year because there were so many going on. But it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was insane. And they were going on earlier today. I haven't heard any since we recorded, but I took out the trash around 5 o'clock, and they were still going in the rain. So it's been fun. It's been awesome. Hopefully a lot of unity and celebrating going on, and these times just people loving people because that's what we need.
Right.
With all these social medias and stuff, you see a lot of the bad side and the darkness of all this stuff, and at the end of the day, we're all humans. Might not all be from here, but for the most part, we are all Americans, and we got another year in. What is it, 300 and some odd years? So we're going strong. We got to learn to love. It's all about love.
I don't think it's quite 300 years because 1776 would be 2076.
Oh, yeah. So 250.
But
250.
Yeah, I mean, we'll kind of end on that. A big shout out to all those people, like Sil said, trying to move forward. There's obviously problems, and some people are trying to bring us back, as always. Some people are trying to bring us forward. So shout out to those guys, those athletes, the media members, the celebrities, just the regular people like you and me that are showing love. Just continue to do that. Just it doesn't matter who you are, where you came from, whatever, just love. As in the famous words of semi-pro superstar Jackie Moon, everybody love everybody. And of course, be a stud, not a scrub.